And yeah, in the last session, we started the CloudFront, right? And we have seen like what is a CloudFront and how it improves the web content delivery and all. Also, we have seen the practical hands-on exercise on like creating the CloudFront distribution, and we observed how the performance got improved and all, right? So I think on that day, it got like I made something like you feel confused. So you want me to repeat the same hands-on exercise which we have done in the last session, like the creating the cloud front and all. You want me to show the same hands-on exercise again before continuing with the other option on the cloud front? If yes, I can show the same the practicals what we have done in the last session. Okay, just let me give you a quick overview about like what we have discussed in the last session. So first, what we have done is the CloudFront. The CloudFront is to improve the performance of the web content delivery, right? So what we have done to check that, we created one S3 bucket, and I created this S3 bucket in Northern Virginia region because we are in India. So I prefer to create the bucket far away from us to observe the latency. And what we have done here, while we are creating this, we enabled ACL, ACL's enabled, and we disabled block public access. Why? The reason is if you don't disable it, no object will become a public from your S3 bucket. Then we uploaded one image.jpg, right? Then as a user, right, as a user, we try to access the object using the object URL, and we observe the latency as 300 milliseconds, right? That is what the actual problem is. Then we created the CloudFront distribution, and we selected this as an origin, S3 bucket as an origin, and this as default root document. What does that mean? Whenever the user is trying to access, image.jpg will be loaded because your bucket might contain multiple objects: image.jpg, image1.jpg, index.html, contact us.html. It might have multiple objects. By default, which object to be loaded? That is what the default root document is. Then it enables a URL, CloudFront distribution URL. I can say CloudFront URL. That is the URL which we have to use to observe the highest performance. Then what happens here? Across the globe, Amazon is maintaining the edge locations like this. Now, whenever this user try to access using the CloudFront URL, the request will go to the nearest edge location, and he got within 50 milliseconds. The latency is 50 milliseconds, and all the data is like cached from the origin. And there is a concept called TTL, where the cached content expires. By default, the TTL is 24 hours, which means every 24 hours all the cached content will be cleared from the edge locations and a fresh copy will be loaded from the S3 bucket. Assume that every day at 6 a.m., the cache will be cleared, for example. Okay, so the user, the administrator, or someone updated the content in the bucket at 10 a.m. They updated content at 10 a.m. A new image uploaded at 10 a.m. Uploaded at 10 a.m. Already the edge location cached the old image. Means the users will see the same old image until tomorrow morning 6 a.m. To overcome this issue, we have a concept called manual invalidation. Manual invalidation, which means we can invalidate an object at any time using a manual invalidation process, and which is chargeable. Which is a chargeable. So as of now, are you guys clear? Is everything clear? The theory part, what I have explained till now, all the terminology like a TTL, manual invalidation, latency. Are you guys clear or not? Okay. So here there is one challenge. It's not actually a problem. It's a simple challenge, which means this object is a public object, right? Which means anybody can access the object using the object URL. If still this user is trying to access the object using the object URL, he won't get the better performance. Whenever they are using through the CloudFront URL, then only they will get the performance. But here objects are public. So we have an option. We have an option that without making the object as a public, there is a concept called OAI, Origin Access Identity, which means our bucket, and the objects, our bucket and objects are private, which means no unauthorized or no anonymous user can access the objects. Without making the objects as a public, the users cannot access. So here what we do is, while creating the CloudFront distribution, we use a concept called OAI. OAI stands for Origin Access Identity. What does that mean? On the S3 bucket, we will create a bucket policy. For what purpose? To allow read access from a specific identity. In our case, it is going to be the CloudFront. So for this, there is going to be an identity. So in the bucket policy, we will include the identity of the CloudFront distribution with read access, which means whenever the user is trying to access the object using the CloudFront can read and it can be cached at the edge locations. But if the same user is trying to read using the object URL, it will never allow. So we are securing the objects, securing in the sense we are making the objects as a private objects, but still we can allow the read access only through the CloudFront, so that we can take the advantage of the CloudFront distribution performance improvement. Okay, right. So here we have two different configurations for the CloudFront. One is without OAI, one is without OAI, and the second one is with OAI. What is the difference between these two? In the without OAI, object is public. For that, ACL must be enabled. We must disable block all public access. And here, objects are private, but we use a bucket policy to allow read access from CloudFront. From CloudFront. Okay. So what I want to do is to make it more clear. I don't want to be rushed to complete the topic. Let me add few things here. So here I will add few things. We can create two types of CloudFront distributions. One is without OAI, and the second one is with OAI. So I can say OAI stands for Origin Access Identity. So first, let us talk about without OAI, which we already covered in the last session, right? The practical, but again, I will show you. So in the without OAI, objects must be public. Objects must be public. In order to make the objects public, we must enable ACL on the S3 bucket, and we must disable block all public access, right? And let us do this. Create a CloudFront distribution with S3 bucket origin without OAI, and we will observe the latency. Just I'm repeating the same practical, which won't take more than 10 minutes or so, right? Then we will see the OAI also. What is origin access identity and all. So are you guys clear? Shall we continue with the practical? Just give me a quick yes if you are clear till now. Okay. Okay then. So let me log into our AWS account. Okay. So here is my AWS account. Let me navigate to S3, right? So let me create an S3 bucket. So let me click on create bucket. Make sure that you are creating in Northern Virginia. General purpose, bucket name, ACL must be enabled, and this must be disabled, or else we cannot make any object as a public. And scroll down and click on create bucket. So bucket is getting created. Yes. So here is the bucket. Now what is the next step? We need to upload an object. So I will upload an HD image, right? So let me click on upload. While uploading, make it as a public. That object must be public object. Click on add files. Image, yeah, here is image.jpg. Permissions, grant public read access. Then anybody can access your object. So once the object got uploaded, let us grab the object URL to access, right? And here is the object URL. Let me share the object URL with you guys so that you guys can check from your end and you can observe the latency also. And here, let me access. Directly, you can observe that image got loaded in bits and pieces, but there is a way. Just I can go with F11. Okay, let me right click. inspect, right? There is a developer. I think there is a F11 or F12. Then here, click on network. So here you can see the network. Now let me refresh. Not normal refresh, do Control F5. And let us see how much time it will take to load that image.jpg. Where is that? It's about like 3,000 milliseconds. 3,000 milliseconds means it's about 3 seconds. So here 2.95 seconds. To load the image.jpg, it took almost like 2.95 seconds. This is before using CloudFront, right? Okay, now let me close that. Now we will take the advantage of the CloudFront. Let us create the CloudFront distribution. So what was the latency we have? It's about 2.95 seconds, right? Now let us create a CloudFront distribution and we will note down the CloudFront URL and we will access the same image using the CloudFront URL. Okay, now how to create the CloudFront distribution? In the search, let me type for CloudFront. Just I opened the CloudFront in a new tab. And already I mentioned that CloudFront is a global service. Click on distributions. Okay, click on create a distribution. Distribution name, I will say any name that doesn't matter. I will say without OAI. What happened? Single website. I don't have any domains or something, so you can ignore that. Next. So what is our origin? We can use these many types as an origin. In the real time, generally we use Elastic Load Balancer because all the websites, applications, sometimes we use API gateways also to distribute the load and all, right, to deliver some content. 99% or 95%, I can say, ELB and API gateways are going to be the origins. The remaining things, it can be Amazon S3, media package, VPC origin, or any other things. Let me choose Amazon S3, S3 origin, browse the S3 bucket, and sorry, click on browse S3, select the bucket and click on choose. So yesterday I made you guys a little bit confused with this origin path. What is this origin path is, if you are uploading all the content into a folder in the S3 bucket, then you need to mention the folder name here, like slash test slash prod or something. But we are uploading all the content directly into the S3 bucket, and I want to make the entire S3 bucket to be delivered using the CloudFront. So I don't use any origin path here. And this ignore now because we are using without OAI. To make this more clear, let me use customize origin settings because my bucket is public, so I don't want to use this. Next step, we will use this allow private S3 bucket. Customize, you can observe everything. Origin shield, it's a kind of an additional layer which is chargeable. Connection attempts, and you can see customize cache settings also. Get and head is more than enough for us. Get and head is more than enough for websites. So cache policy, these are the different cache policies where we can check all these cache policies. I will show you. This caching optimized is recommended for S3. Okay, click on next. And WAF, I don't want to enable because that is a chargeable. It is an additional security layer to prevent DDoS attacks, SQL injection attempts, every kind of hacking attempts, and for everything, the web application firewall is recommended, highly recommended. We have a separate session for WAF. Click on next, review everything. And one thing we missed here is the default root document. Let me go to previous, where it is. Okay, let me go with next. Next. Let me check origin path. Okay, origin request policy. It is not showing anything here. Let me click on create distribution. Once the distribution got created, we will add that root document also. So this is what I'm talking about. Default root object, which is empty, right? Which means it doesn't know what object to be displayed to the user whenever he hits the distribution domain name. So I will click on edit. And here I will enter the object name image.jpg. Click on save changes. So it seems recently the UI got changed. The last month, like 2 months ago, I did some videos and all for this CloudFront. And within these 2 months, the UI got changed. Options are same, but the UI placements and everything got changed. This is a new UI. Okay, so still it is getting deployed. Once it got deployed, we need to use this distribution domain name. CloudFront, I will share with you guys, CloudFront domain. Okay, you need to click that to load that particular website or image or anything. See here, now let me right click, inspect, and now let me go to the network, and now let me refresh. How much time it took? 698 milliseconds. 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. Previous case without CloudFront distribution, we got a 3000 milliseconds. Now we got close to 700 milliseconds, almost a 4 times better data delivery, 4 times speed, right? 4 times better performance while delivering the content. Even you guys can check now. Hit the URL, go to developer options or inspect. It depends on the browser. If you're using a Chrome, you can right click and you can click on inspect, go to the network, and you can check how much time it takes to load that particular image. Previously, it was a 3000. Now it's like less than 1 second, 0.675 seconds, or we can say 675 milliseconds. Is that clear? Are you guys clear with this? Are you guys clear or any confusion with this CloudFront distribution? Just I covered what we already did in the previous session. Now we are going with OAI, Origin Access Identity. If you guys are clear till now, I will proceed with the other option, which is Origin Access Identity. Okay. So Origin Access Identity. So with the Origin Access Identity, we can keep the S3 origin as a private, and we can allow the CloudFront distribution to read the data. Why should we use this? Here, still the objects are accessible using the object URL, as the objects are public, and the users cannot get the content with high speeds. If they use object URL, they can't get with high speeds. Okay, let me check some, let me show you this. I got a question like how to check the speed and all, right? Click the network, right? Then refresh. Then refresh. You can see the moment once you on the inspect, then only it will start recording the values. Okay, right. The problem with this approach, like without OAI, is the objects are public and anybody can access the object using the object URL. So there is no use of CloudFront distribution. I mean, whoever is using the CloudFront domain name or something, 99% they use the CloudFront distribution only. But what if your organization asked you, don't upload the object as a private, because at least 1 out of 100 or 1,000 people might access the object using the object URL, and they might complain that I'm not getting the content with high speeds, right? That's why we use origin access identity. So how it works here, no need to enable, like here, no need to enable ACL on the bucket, and no need to upload the objects as public objects, but need to create a bucket policy to allow only CloudFront distribution to read the objects, right? Okay, now let us see the steps. Create a CloudFront distribution using OAI, and obviously we will observe the performance also. For this, what all we have to do, create S3 bucket. Let me use the name as a CloudFront 22OCT 2025 OAI for uniqueness. Don't, or I can say disable ACL. Then create a CloudFront distribution using OAI, and then upload any HD image and observe the latency before and after the CloudFront. All right, I will add one more thing here. Access the image using the object URL and note down the loading time, how much time it takes to load that image and all. Okay, then we can go with this one. We will select CloudFront distribution. Like, who is responsible to create the S3 bucket? Because let us say I don't know like how to create the identity, I don't know like how to write the bucket policy. No need to worry, I will show you so that you can understand, okay, this is going to be very easy. So let me create another bucket. So create bucket, I'm in the Northern Virginia. OAI, ACLs I'm not enabling, even I'm not disabling block all public access, right? With all default values, which means you cannot make an object public without ACL and without disabling that block all public access, right? Okay, now let me upload an image. Let me use a different image this time. Image, okay. Let me use a different image. Yep, this image. Okay, so click on upload, add files, image, and upload, which means, okay, so here I did something, I explained you a different wrong thing, which is this you can't do, right? You can't do this because the object is public, sorry, object is private. How can you access using the object URL? There is no way. Okay, right. So even if you want me to check, I will show you. The object is a private object, right? Let me check the object URL. So you will get access denied error because the object is a private object. Okay, now let us create the CloudFront distribution. Create a distribution. So I will say with OAI, some meaningful name. Description also, let me use some meaningful description with OAI. I don't have any custom domain name. Yep. Next, Amazon S3 is our origin. Bucket, select the bucket, choose. Okay, origin path not required. So allow private S3 bucket access to CloudFront. Yes, means we are keeping the bucket as a private only, and and we are allowing our origin CloudFront distribution to access. So keep all default options. Even if you want, you can check what all options are getting selected and all the things. Okay, let me choose customize origin settings only, but I'm not changing anything. Enable origin shield, no. Connection attempts 3, connection timeout, like health check. Okay, then here redirect HTTP to, okay, keep everything as it is. Origin request policy. So you want to create a new origin request policy or you want to keep the existing one. Just keep select. It is an optional one. It is an optional thing. Automatically an origin request policy will be created. When this origin request policy is required is like if you want to request the data from a different account and all the ways. So keep everything as it is. Don't change anything. Click on next. I do not enable. Next. Still, there is no default root object, right? We will create that also. Because while creating, I did not find where I need to configure this default root object. Once it got created, I go to edit and image.jpg. Click on save changes. And I will grab that CloudFront distribution URL. It is the distribution domain name. So still it is getting deployed. In the meanwhile, let me share the CloudFront distribution URL. What's happening here? Still, our objects are private objects. Still, our objects are private objects, but the users can access your web content only through the CloudFront. That is the difference. So let me check, right click, inspect, network. Let me refresh. How much time? 678 milliseconds. Right? Okay. So are you guys clear? So that I can show you the invalidation process also. If you guys are clear till now, I will explain the invalidation process and we will see that practical also. Anybody having any questions as of now? Okay, now let us talk about the manual first invalidation. Okay, so I think already I have mentioned here. Okay, let me cut, let me go in a order. Okay, so here all the objects cached at the edge locations are invalidated automatically after a TTL. Invalidated in the sense, I can say clear. Invalidated from the edge locations automatically after a TTL. What is a TTL? TTL stands for time to live. and default TTL is 24 hours, which can be modified as per the requirement. Okay, which means data will be cleared from the edge locations every 24 hours. Cache data, I should say cache data. Cache data will be cleared from the edge locations after every 24 hours. What is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? If someone updated, I mean, someone is the administrator or the organization updated the content in the origin, but the end users can see the old content until the TTL. In such cases, to serve the users with the updated content, we can do a manual invalidation, which means if any object updated at the origin, the end users can see the old content, can see the old content until the TTL. Ashutosh, any question? Yeah, if you have any questions, then only unmute, or else just please be on mute so that there will be no disturbance. Okay, right. Until the TTL, the old content will be delivered, right? So for this, to overcome this thing, what we have to do is, let us say example, assume every day at 10 a.m., 10 a.m., all the cache data will be cleared because of a TTL. If you update any content at, let us say at 7 a.m., the end users can see the outdated old content till 10 a.m. So to overcome this issue, we have an option called manual invalidation. We have an option called manual invalidation. So first of all, what is the invalidation? Invalidation is the process of invalidate the objects from the edge locations cache. After the TTL, every object will be invalidated automatically, which I already mentioned. If you want to manually invalidate, write down this. So manual invalidation is the process to invalidate the object at any time so that the end users can be delivered with the updated content instantly. And I can say manual invalidation is chargeable, but how much? Based on the paths, like how many paths you enter, we enter during the invalidation. I will explain what is a path and all. If I say image one, that is one path. If I say slash image one, slash image two, slash image three, means three different paths. Based on the number of paths, we can, or we will be charged. Okay, now let us do manual invalidation thing. upload a new image with the same name, image.jpg, and observe that the end users still getting the old image. The end user still getting the old image, the CloudFront name, which I already shared, right? With the same thing, you have to verify. Okay, now let me upload the image. And this image is still private. I don't want to, I can't make that as a public. Upload, add files. So this is the current image, the old image, right? Some scenery or something. Let me use that with this one. Okay, I'm uploading this image, some road or something, some street. Upload. I'm done. Let me check. See here. Still, I'm getting the same old image. But we updated already a new with a new image. Which image? Let me press I. This is the image which I upload. This is the image which I uploaded. But then the end users are getting the old image. Can you guys please check and confirm that you are still getting the old image, this image which you can see on the screen? Yes, you are getting the old image only, right? The admin or the organization updated the content, but as an end user, still you are seeing the old image. To overcome this issue, we are going to use manual invalidation. Manually invalidate the image.jpg from the edge locations, and observe that the end users are getting the new content. I mean, the new image. Okay. Let me show you how to invalidate that. So go to your CloudFront distribution, right? Just go back to the distributions. This is our CloudFront distribution, right? Click on the distribution. You can see there are multiple tabs: general, security, origin, behaviors, and all. And I have to go to invalidations. Invalidations. Click on create invalidation / image.jpg. This is one path. If you want to invalidate multiple things, image.jpg / index.html. So here three paths. So I will be charged for three different paths. Okay, right. Let me go with single one. Image.jpg is my object name, which I want to invalidate. Create invalidation. Status is in progress. It is sending a request to all the edge locations to invalidate image.jpg, which means whatever the image.jpg you are holding at your edge locations, that is invalid. Immediately they will drop that image and they will get a new image from the origin. I mean, they will cache the new image from the origin. Let me refresh now. What happened? I got a new image. Even you guys can check. Can you guys check and confirm that you are getting the new what do you call that, the new object or a new updated content? Can someone check and confirm? Yes, you are getting. Okay. So this is about the CloudFront. Also, we have some what we call that, some additional options available on your CloudFront distributions. So anyways, everyone is using your, like, what we call that, the CloudFront distribution name, URL you have. So we have a concept called, where is that? So here we have, let me show you all tabs one by one. Security, we can use a web application firewall, right? But we haven't discussed about what is WAF, that is separate service. Under the security, we have something called CloudFront geographic restrictions. Means you can apply some restrictions based on the user's geographical location. So I hope like everyone is from the India. Let me click here. There is no restriction applied. So let me show you some restrictions, but in the real time, we don't use it, but we have an option. Let me click on edit. So I can say block list. I want to block the country India. I hope everyone is from India only. Let me click on save changes, which means the CloudFront will not allow the India users to access the content. So it is still deploying. We need to wait. Once it's successfully deployed, no user from India can access this CloudFront. But from other than India, anybody can access. You can use only LO list in which I can only add India. So only India people can access. Or you can create what we call that, the block list in which you can add multiple countries also. Okay. So here, let us verify that also, and then we can close the session. Still, it is getting deployed. Let me refresh. See here what happened. The Amazon CloudFront distribution is configured to block access from your country. We can't connect to a server for this application or website at this time. There might be some generic error. See here. Even you guys can check if you are from India, and if you are not from India, you can see that image. If you got a question like, how can I, being a single, like staying in India, how can I verify this? Just launch one Windows EC2 instance in Northern Virginia, access the CloudFront domain name from that particular EC2 instance. Means the request is originating outside of India, and you can get some content. You can see the image. Now, what I do is I will go to security again. I will click on this, edit. I will write LO list and I will choose India, save changes. Means only from LO, the content is accessible. From outside of India, that content is not accessible because I changed that to LO list. LO list India. Even you should know like how to delete this, because if you keep on running this CloudFront distribution, you will exceed the free tier limit and you might get charged, right? So the moment once you are done with your practical, you need to know like how to delete and how to clean up. Being a student or being a learner, cleanup is the most important procedure to save the money. Okay, I will show you that also. See here. The moment once I change India to LO list, I can access the content. Okay, right. Are you guys clear? Or any questions on the CloudFront? I hope the CloudFront topic is clear without any questions or something. Any questions? Just you can ask me now. Once you guys are clear, like I will show you like how to clean up and how to delete the distribution and all the things. Any questions? Okay, I hope like you guys are clear and without any issues. Let me write down a few points here. Invalidation manual. Manual invalidation is not kind of a new object hosting. Okay, let me make it simple. So this is or S3 bucket, right? In which there is index.jpg. Let us say this JPG contains a bike image. Okay. And here there is a edge location. This is the edge location. At this edge location, image.jpg got cached, right? Image.jpg got cached, and this user is getting the content from this edge location. And this image.jpg contains the bike image, right? Now, let us say the TTL is like at every day at 8 a.m. Okay. Now we uploaded a new image at 7:30 p.m. Right? Image.jpg. This contains car image. Contains car image at 7:30 p.m. But this image will be cleared only at 8 a.m. So the users will see the bike image only. They can't see the car image because the edge location is holding the old image. So here the manual invalidation. Manual invalidation means we are sending a request to the edge location that image.jpg is invalid. Image.jpg is invalid. Then what happens? Edge location will delete the image.jpg from the edge location. Now the user is trying to access, so no image at the edge location. It will pull new image from the origin, which contains our image. Have you got the concept? This is most commonly user service in the real time. For every website, for every web application, they use the cloud. Changing default TTL, no, not chargeable. Changing default TTL is not chargeable. So you want to like every 1 hour? Yes, you can do. But if someone modified at 7:05 a.m., they need to wait until 8 a.m., right? So 55 minutes delay. I will show you how to change that default TTL also. Okay, right. So on what basis these are? There is a thing called policies, right? What policy we used? We use a caching optimizer, right? At the time of creating the distribution, they recommended to use caching optimize. So here, this is the one. Click here. What is the default TTL? 86,400. What is the meaning of that 86,400 seconds? 86,400 seconds divided by 60, we will get minutes. 1440 minutes divided by 60, we will get hours, 24 hours. So how you can change is you can't modify this, but what you can do is you can create a new policy, create cache policy. So my custom policy description for my application, you can use, like you said, 1 hour. How many seconds? 3,600. Yes. And just you can choose whatever, click on create. So if you use this policy, the TTL will become 1 hour. That's how you can do that. Okay. Then CloudFront distribution cleanup to avoid the charges. So first step, we must disable the CloudFront distribution. Might take up to 5 minutes. Then only we can delete the CloudFront distribution. Without disabling, we can't delete it. Let me show you. Okay, let me go back to the CloudFront distributions, right? Select the distribution. You can see there is no delete option. What is the error what is the message you are getting? You must disable your distribution first. Select the distribution, click on disable, disable, which might take up to 5 minutes because it needs to send that information to all the edge locations that so and so CloudFront distribution got disabled, don't serve any content. For that, it might take up to 5 minutes. you might see the status as disabled, but if you scroll aside, you can see still it is deploying. Still it is deploying. The same way the other one also I want to disable. Just after 5 minutes, if I select that distribution like this, I can get the delete button. Okay, right. Any questions? Yes, if you have any question, just you can ask now. Yeah, you can unmute by yourself. Just you
Sir,
can, yeah.
actually, invalidation requires na. Invalidation means we want. I mean, we wantedly invalidate the cache. That's it.
Yes.
Then, if you can, I mean, if we can change the TTL value, then what is
Mhm.
the purpose of invalidation? Then?
Again, if you want to invalidate immediately, you have to use the invalidate option, right? Okay,
Okay,
let us
okay.
say
Before
you said,
even that, that means that prescribed TTL value, even that,
let us say the
then
TTL is 1
invalidation
hour,
comes into picture. Okay, before
right?
1 hour, if you want to invalidate, then
Yes,
the
let's say
invalidation
every,
comes into
yeah,
picture.
7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., the cache will be cleared.
So
But what if
everything is in
here,
our hand only.
right? Here, see, if you upload 7:30 p.m., the data will be cleared at 8 p.m. Means there is
Yes,
a 30 minutes delay.
yes, sir.
If you want to make it immediate, you have to use the manual invalidation.
So TTL is in our hand only. That's it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Right. Any other questions? Anybody else? Okay, then, if you guys are clear, let us stop the session here. In the tomorrow session, we will talk about elastic load balancers, in which we will discuss about different types of load balancers like application load balancer, network load balancer, and we will deploy a sample website using application load balancer, which will run on 80 and 443 ports, right? That part we will cover in the tomorrow session. Thank you, everyone. We'll continue tomorrow.